Hi, I'm Lowell Gustafson. I am very happy on behalf of Nganfon Goubissih to present to you a brief history of the African Big History Association. Cameroonian teachers went through a lot of challenges with the learning of the Big History Project in 2017. Since most school teachers in Cameroon did not have regular internet access, a foreigner whose child was studying in one of the schools in Yaoundé had to download all of the BHP training and teaching materials and show them to the teachers who were interested through a series of one-to-one training. One of the teachers expressed his awe on the scientific progress made in the U.S. and other developed countries in human understanding of the universe, thresholds 1 to 3. But he also sighed and wondered when would an African country like Cameroon achieve the same scientific progress in their understanding of the universe. Connecting to the internet was already a big challenge. The scientific progress as narrated in thresholds 1 to 3 frustrated some of the teachers, and they felt a little alienated from the Big History Project in the developed world. Why does a cosmic viewpoint in thresholds 1 to 3 seemingly work in a developed world, but it does not seem to work in a developing world? How do we connect the Cameroonian teachers to the narrative of scientific progress made in the developed world without frustrating them? All in all, Cameroon is still struggling to catch up with the digital complexity of the economically more developed world. The people aspire to achieve the same level of complexity, but they have to contend with where they are now. The challenges inspired four Cameroonian Big History in the Amity International Primary School to form the Big History African Study Group on the 13th of September in 2017. They came together with the intention to establish a Cameroonian Big History Teachers Club and even bigger association for non-teachers. They called it a Big Bang approach. It starts small, but it grows big. 2 months later, they received some suggestions from members of the Big History International community, including the Oberlin Big History Project based in Japan, which organized a Big History Kamishabe competition for Cameroonian school children and teachers. The suggestions indicated that if Cameroonian Big History teachers wanted a stronger voice in the international arena, they needed to have an association of their own. So they decided to establish the African Big History Association to reach out to more African people with big history. With the support of the Consini and Kochi Nongong from the Amity International Primary School and Nganfon Goubissih from the Amity International School, the primary section, an urgent meeting among Big History teachers from different schools in Yaoundé was held on the 5th of January 2018 to decide if the Secretariat of the African Big History Association should be located in Cameroon. There was a concern that they would not be able to handle an international association at that scale and magnitude. Counter-arguments were presented, chiefly centered around issues of carrying out the association's activities within their means while leveraging the Cameroonian strength in managing finances with tight budgets. They also discussed the importance of getting the African Big History Association registered with Cameroonian authorities so as to legitimize its launching and fundraising in Cameroon, along with the distribution of tasks, such as the International Coordination and Activity Programming. After months of discussions with the Big History International community, they prepared the first document of the AFBHA, and it was officially launched on the 21st of January 2018. As of this stage, the AFBHA had been carrying out different activities, some of which include teaching Big History in schools by introducing the concept of Big Bang, strength of African traditional cultures, and the evolution of modern sciences. Irregular meetings on how to spread the mission and objectives of the AFBHA in the whole Cameroon and Africa as follows. The mission of the AFBHA is to use African traditional wisdom as a guide and big history narrative, as a vessel to connect African people to the global community. Its objectives are, 1, to spread big history to every corner of Africa, to unleash African people's creativity and their love for idea sharing, starting from establishing a big history study group in each village to educate every African youth on the importance of persevering their mother tongues and enlighten every African woman to step forward from their back burner to be the forerunner of African youth education to strengthen African identity in the modern African society. 2, to establish an African Big History Foundation to support the collection of all African traditional narratives as the cradle of human origin, ranging from verbal, musical, and physical performances, rituals to artifacts, and showcase the narratives to the public with an aim to keeping African culture alive, to nourish creative leadership, and sustain the growth of African people's self-confidence in their own African heritage in a modern Africa. And 3, to apply big history to transform African traditional skills and wisdoms into a creative force in promoting African women's role in generating diverse income activities for their families and shaping African urban, suburban, and regional design strategy to enhance the well-being of all African people in the future. Meeting students in holiday villages, visiting the chiefs' fonds and lamidos, having talks with grandmothers and grandfathers in villages for detailed discussions on how Africans and Cameroonians evolved since then until now. Teaching village children about their roots and how they should value them by taking good care of their local environment for the benefit of humanity. Having talks with personnel of other schools about big history and all the communities related to big history, such as the African Big History Association, the International Big History Association, the Asian Big History Association. Paying visits in orphanages, celebrating the African Child Day each year, which is on June 16th. Creating awareness on how the understanding of big history Africans can overcome the mental burden, modern slavery, and spiritual domination imposed by the powers that be in the past, present, and generation to come, and rise to the top as Africa as the true mother of all civilizations in the world. After carrying out the activities, the AFBHA members started to worry and to point reluctantly to carry on with the activities due to their weak ability to meet the demands of running the association, ranging from the day-to-day operation costs to the legal issues related to organizing activities, visiting schools, orphanages, universities, secondary schools, academic experts, radio stations, and chiefdoms. In conclusion, the African BHA members are still very enthusiastic and willing to spread big history in Cameroon and Africa, but most of them are limited only to their schools and class where they teach. At some point, the school founders even prohibited the teaching of big history in the school because it's not legal, and it may cause problems if the ministry in charge of education discovers this. With all the setbacks, the members start seeing it as a dilemma in choosing between sacrificing their jobs as a school teacher or teaching big history in schools. We also wish to register the African Big History Association with the Cameroonian Authority to be recognized as a legal organization under the Cameroonian laws. But the office in charge of registration demand the association to deposit the sum of 230,000 francs or $382 before we can have the association functional. The little finance that we raised was $197, and that could not permit us to do that. The African Big History Association also made several requests to previous presidents and executive members of the IBHA to help us overcome the difficulties we face here in Cameroon and Africa. Internet is so expensive in Cameroon and paid by individuals each time you have international internet programs. The association itself has no computer to be used for its activities. All these years, the president of the African Big History Association has been using his own mini mobile phone with a lot of difficulties and personal money to recharge internet to run the activities of the association nationally and internationally. Truly, dear brothers and sisters of the IBHA, Cameroon Big History teachers are trapped in a very complicated situation. We believe that if Mr. Bill Gates would facilitate the success of the BHP in the world, the AFBHA may as well benefit. It might be wishful thinking, but this is what we truly thought. It's close to 6 years today, the association and its members have been working with little means that they could make. We don't want the association to collapse and its members scattered. We wish the association can grow like the International Big History Association and organize a Big History Association conference. Last December, the AFBHA's president traveled to Abram, a small village that serves as a vacations village for thousands of students in Cameroon. He introduced Big History to a few interested students. They appreciated it so much and wished it should be part of their studying program. The willingness is there and the readiness to reach out is available, but the resources to run the association is rather limited. The AFBHA plans to launch a Big History mini competition among students and teachers within and out of the school, town and region, but we have little to offer to them. The challenges are enormous. We do not want to seal our mouth and watch the association fall like this. Members and the board of directors of the International Big History Association, we cry out to you. We are still growing. The challenges are pushing us down. We can't launch income-generating activities as of now because the association is not yet popular, and all we do as of now is illegal according to the law. We want to make things right as to operate legally. What follows is a list of items that we need if you can help. The first is financial support to legalize the association and to subsidize internet costs. Electronic items, computers, phones, PlayStations for kids, gamepads, tablets, USB keys, portable speakers, printer, external hard drives, chargers, projectors, portable whiteboards, CDs and cassettes. School items, pens and pencils, markers, colors, erasers, molders, stencils, books, journals, readers, school bags, rulers, all other material necessary in education. Domestic items, shoes and children's clothes. We ask you to please send your donation for the African Big History Association to thebighistory.org/donate. 100% of the donations will go to the items listed above.
I am an African, not because I live on Lisa, but because my food are told me Africa. When Africa lives for our children, my cheek is stained with tears. When Africa orders for an elder, my head is bound with respect. When Africa mourns for the victims, my hands are joined in prayer. When Africa celebrates for the victims, my feet are connected with dancing.
I am an African first. You spend things my breath away.
Je suis africaine, seule sans peuple, ça porte une famille. Et maman le sens de la communauté.
Je suis africaine parce que je suis africaine pour sa famille et elle m'a fait de la source de vie. We are African because she is the equal of our birth and nurture and ancient people. We are African because she is the world shadow and goes to the garden in the city. We are African because she is the land of tomorrow.